welcome to the International Institute for Facilitation's podcast, Spaghetti on the Wall. I'm Eileen Dowse, Chair Emeritus and Director of Assessments for INIFAC. And today I am joined by an incredibly special guest. He is a ICF Executive Coach. He's a facilitator, he's an author, and he is host of the incredibly not-to-miss podcast, Keep Leading, which invites some of the best thought leaders in leadership to be his guest. And for the next several minutes, what we're going to talk about is the difference between team coaching and facilitation. And we're going to mix that up with some humor and some fun. We're going to throw it at the wall and we're going to see what sticks. So welcome, Eddie.
Dr. Dowse, thank you for having me. And you neglected to mention that one of my most important attributes is I am your number one fan.
Oh, well, thank you. And I was going to say you are truly a colleague and a friend. So the feeling, excuse me, is definitely mutual. Might as well start with a croak here, too. Okay, so we both coach and we both facilitate. The issue is, what I'm hearing is, a lot of my colleagues are like, oh, I'm a team coach. And others are saying, oh, I'm a facilitator. And I'm like, well, if you're a team coach, aren't you just a facilitator? So let's unpack some of these topics because I personally find it confusing. So you and I wrote an article. We needed to dig in a little deeper as good researchers on this. So when you think about team coaching and facilitation, what comes to mind for you as the differences?
Well, to your point, I was of the same mind when people would say that. And I was, one of the programs I'm involved in required us to go through this training. And as I went through the training, it affirmed my belief that a team coach is simply a great facilitator. And so when you invited me to join you on the article, and through your great research that you had created as the foundation for what we wrote that we hope to see available to the masses soon, we really got a chance to open it up and help people understand the difference between here is a group facilitator and their unique skills, and here is a team coach. And using the competencies, since I was privileged to sit under you as the chair, you're now chair emeritus and one of the original founders of INIFAC, that set the standard for what it means to be a master facilitator. Right. That really underscores a lot of our thinking that we approach the article with.
Yeah, thank you. And these are subtle differences, right? Like they're not blatant differences that you'd divide the room and say, which are you? I think a lot of people might go to the middle of the room. You wouldn't be one side or the other, because both a team coach and a facilitator helps to create dialogue. And they do this collaboration with the team, right?
Yes, and that they help to create that dialogue, right? And we firmly believe, like a coach believes, that the client owns the content, but we, the facilitator, we, the coach, we own the process. We are the masters of the process, which will help pull the content from everyone in the room and allow everyone to tap that collective intelligence, leading to the outcome that they desire.
Right. And I think you nailed it on, there is a different skill set and knowledge set as well, right?
Indeed.
So you and I did a little kind of joking around on, well, we might as well use AI for this while we're writing the article. And it's like, hey, Siri, what's the difference between a team coach and a facilitator? And depending what optimization tool you use, you get a different answer. And then here's the answer from ChatGPT. Team coaching is about ongoing development and improvement, while facilitation is about guiding a specific event or session to achieve a particular outcome. So it sounds like team coaching is this long-term, and facilitation is almost this lone ranger, come in, deal with the outcome, leave the silver bullet, and go. What are your
I
thoughts?
really like that distinction, and in the fact that, yes, as process facilitators, strategic facilitators, that typically is what we're tapped for. Whereas that team coach, that group coach, is going to stay with the client for a longer term. So that really makes a lot of sense to me, because when you're looking at, as we talked about, the owner being the owner of the process,
Right.
right? Strategic questions, active listening skills, right? And a lot of the other things that we do in terms of intuition and the silent tools that we use, other things we pull out of the facilitative toolkit, they're the same as the coach.
Right.
So when you're looking at it from that perspective, it's like, well, what's the difference?
Yeah,
But when you
exactly.
use that definition that you just laid out there for us, it really does make it a lot more clear.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chat GPT. And I think the other thing is, when you talked about really listen, I think both the team coach and the facilitator have to really listen, because in my mind, I've always said that a facilitator is like a communication cop, right? You have to help person A understand what person B said, even if they disagree. And I think the same is true for a team coach.
Yes. I would say one slight difference might be, or maybe a yes and. What our mutual friend and former board member there as well, Michael Wilkinson,
Right.
he said something that I will never forget. When I talked to him about what did he think as somebody who's trained hundreds of thousands, well, maybe not hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of facilitators,
Yeah.
what do you think makes a great facilitator? And he gave me this list, but one of the items on his list was they are able to process information extremely fast. And I thought, wow, that really is a good point, because when you're looking at all the popcorn, if you will, that comes out of the room when ideas are being germinated, or even sometimes where things are a little hairy,
Very hairy.
when people are
Yeah,
very enthusiastically exchanging their ideas, right? You have to be able to process that really quickly, make sense of it, and be able to turn that back around. And in some ways, a process facilitator might have a little bit more experience with that than perhaps a normal coach would, where our audiences are hopefully usually a little bit more behaved.
on a good day. I think what you just said was something really interesting. The facilitator has to process the information. And if we're doing the yes and game, I'll also do a yes and here. Yes, and they have to know a bunch of processes to help the group manage that information themselves. So not only
Yes.
do they have to process it, they also have to create the, I don't know, boundaries, the rules of engagement, the systems, the whatever it is for that to occur.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, Eileen. Because you're not in coaching. Of course, we're really strong about not being prescriptive, not being directive. We're going to allow the client to be leading, coming up with their own answers, and we're just using these powerful questions. Whereas in some cases, that facilitator is going to have to be a bit more prescriptive, still allowing the client to stay in control, but you're going to take control and say, no, I think here's where we need to go right now. And we're introducing a process. We're introducing a tool. And we're going to kind of do a little bit more steering than perhaps a pure coach would do.
Sure. The agenda is your friend unless the participants want to change the agenda, which you have to do as well, right?
Yes.
So let's do a little sales job here. And I want to point out why this matters, right? Why be a team coach? Why be a facilitator? In the business world, in the private sector world, in the nonprofit world, what are your top 3, top 1 reasons on why people should gain these skills?
I said this in an interview that I'm going to repeat again in this interview because it ended up being taken by the International Coaching Federation and put out across their social media feed to their hundreds of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. And that is something I fundamentally believe. And that is everyone should be a coach first and a leader second.
Oh, yeah.
If you apply your coaching skills, it makes you a better leader.
Yeah.
So I think we start there, right? And so that same set that I mentioned a moment ago, being being an active listener, and then a person who asks powerful questions, and being slow to give answers. As a leader, of course, we're used to taking charge and we're used to directing things. But in a great number of cases, we can really help our teams grow. We can help individual members grow if we put on the coach hat first and be directive and prescriptive second. Right. So I would put that in the first category. And the next category, why I would say it's important is not just from that standpoint being more effective, but especially in a world where AI is taking over. Content is out there.
Yeah.
It's free, easily accessible, right. And a great number of reporters are saying, well, we don't need you anymore. We can do this, or we can get this information ourselves and process it very quickly and efficiently. Yeah. And so therefore we see what's happening in the job market as a result. Yeah. Whereas if you've developed and mastered these skills of facilitation, what it takes to run effective meetings, what it takes to help organizations get through strategy, get through processes and sticky, hairy moments, that skill set will serve you well in any role. Someone has to run those board meetings. Someone has to be the person that is able to, even in a room where there's great seniority, someone who can be that neutral party that cuts through title and position and is able to move the group to the desired outcome. And in some cases, you might even say, move them to an outcome. It may not be what they desired, but in the end, they realize, oh, we thought we needed to go this direction or wanted to go in that direction. Right. We need to go here. Yeah. So it serves you well in that realm. Yeah. And so I would say that these are life skills. Yeah. Yes, they help you professionally, but as I've learned from you, and I've seen in my own life, they certainly do make a difference in our personal lives.
Oh my goodness, they make great parenting skills, don't they? And I really wish every child in high school and even elementary school learned some of these skills. They are so important. Adding on to your reasons for why these are important skills to gain, I would also add, everybody complains about so many meetings, so boring meetings, blah, 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 waste of time, waste of money. I think it these skills, I'll go the facilitator piece here, can really help you be more efficient and productive. Mm-hmm. So they're worth knowing about. At least take a look at the competencies, facilitator competencies, team coach competencies on ICF. Take a look at them and be hard on yourself and say, how am I doing on these?
Yes, and I want people to know that you're not just saying that. If people have ever attended a meeting with Dr. Eileen Gauss, they will know that is one of the best run meetings you will ever attend. It doesn't get any better. You want to see an agenda that's laid out, fully executed, buy-in, consensus, and all the tools of facilitation put to use in just a simple meeting where it's not a facilitated session. In fact, your basic rule is there is no such thing as a meeting that's not facilitated. So you're not just saying that. I've watched you work it to perfection.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And let's also note, which you didn't say, is how much a bunch of facilitators hate doing icebreakers at the start of a meeting. They're like, no, we just do this for everybody else. We shouldn't have to do an icebreaker, but oh yeah, we do icebreakers. Yes. That's funny. Yes. Okay, so when it comes, let's talk about team coaching. And if you were to do a session for ICF and say, all right, these are all the skills of a team coach, or someone said to you, hey, Eddie, I'm wanting to be a team coach. What should I know to do? What would be your list? Some of the items on your list.
So ICF has a nice set of competencies. I would obviously point to that.
Right.
But then what I would point to is I take them over to INEFAC and look at INEFAC's competencies for a facilitator.
Yeah.
And I think when you marry those two,
Oof.
that's something very powerful.
Right. Okay.
And so
go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. So I was just going to say, I don't have time to list all of them in order, but I would tell people to visit coachfederation.org to see the ICF competencies, and then visit INEFAC.org to get the INEFAC competencies.
Yeah, no, great answer. Great answer. Thank you. And all right, now I'm going to get a little philosophical on you here. Can you be a facilitator if you're a team coach? Can you be a team coach if you're a facilitator? Ay, ay, ay. I don't even know the answer.
Well, we go back to yes and. This really is the ultimate yes and, right?
Yeah.
Because you can be both,
Yeah.
and you don't need any credential for it.
Yeah.
But there are today specific credentials for both of those,
Yeah.
right? So you can have a credential as a team coach. You can have a credential as a facilitator. But you can also still function in both of those roles without having the credential.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it still goes back to, excuse me, what relationship do you want with the group that you're working with? Right? And are you looking at helping the group develop, just like a coach helps a person develop? Do you have that knowledge of group dynamics from the group process evolution point with a team coach, whereas a facilitator may work 5-6 meetings in a row on mission, vision, values, strategy, resolving conflict? Do you have the skills to stick with the group, understanding that there are stepping stones to that outcome, which the outcome could be developing the group if you're facilitating a team for, team development, or it could be to help the group run their business better. And I don't know if team coaches do that latter part.
I think that each situation is perhaps going to be unique, but as a general rule,
Fair.
it might be said that team coach is coming in to help with that forming, storming, norming, and performing stage. And as a part of the performing, is the performing to see better business results? Is the performing to see better cohesion, better collaboration? I think so. You take that on a case-by-case basis. At the end of the day, I think it can be said that there is no need for coaching unless it's about getting the business performance. So from that perspective, it's all about that. That's why the companies are making that outlay in financial investment in their employees for that reason.
Yeah, right. Wow, thank you. Okay, we need to wrap this up, unfortunately. And so my question to you is, now that people have heard all this information, maybe they're more confused than when they started. What suggestions do you have for anyone wanting to develop their team coach or facilitation skills, get better at it?
Number one, take the suggestion I mentioned earlier. Go to coachingfederation.org, read those competencies from ICF, and if you're not already an ICF certified coach, become one. Pair that with getting trained as a facilitator, joining INEFAC.org, mastering those competencies, and going to training sessions by Dr. Eileen Dowse and her firm. We mentioned Michael Wilkinson earlier, his amazing firm that he started, Leadership Strategies, where they certify facilitators. Combining those two skill sets from a training perspective, but then nothing matters as much as application. So then you got to practice. So get the skills, get yourself certified, and apply by practicing at every chance you get.
Absolutely. Thank you. And hey, if you have more thoughts on team coaching or facilitation, please let Eddie and I know, because I don't think we know all the answers either, right? You never know. Go ahead. Did you want to say something, Eddie?
No, I just was kind of laughing and chuckling. Yes.
Good. Okay. Well, Eddie, thank you so much. It is always such a delight to work with you and to pick your brain. I love how you think.
Thank you for having me.